Carried. Thank you. So now we move on to the Linwood-Central-Heathcote Community Board, and Sally, if you'd like to join us at the table, please.
And we've decided it's Orange Day today.
Bright attire on a dull winter's day. It was great.
You can't tell us apart.
All right, so you've got 10 minutes to present your community board report, and we're certainly looking forward to hearing what's been happening in your area.
Yeah, I did too. Sorry. I've just been on a big holiday, so you have to excuse me if I'm not completely up to date with everything. The community board decisions under delegation. We had the approval of the final concept design for the rebuild of the Woolston Community Centre at 689 Ferry Road, and the board requested staff to investigate options to allow the facility to be extended in the future. We adopted the new council's standing orders and code of conduct. We've resolved that Alex is our board representative on the external interagency sex workers working party. We resolved to ask Fletcher Living to consider a dog park in the Eastern Frame. This could be one with the basic equipment to be trialled on a vacant site in the central city as part of a transitional project, and please note this happened while I was away. And we received a petition asking for the intersection of Worcester Street at Fitzgerald Ave to remain open to traffic in all four directions, and this was referred to the ITI committee. And we recommended that Daryl Latham and Tim Linley are the Linwood-Central-Heathcote Community Board representatives on the Redcliffs Park Land Transfer Hearings Panel. And significant projects and initiatives. We've got a working party established to plan the official opening of the Matuku Tako Sumner Centre, and Daryl is our representative from the community board on that, and we've requested that a seminar on the management of the facility and what it will be used for, we've requested a seminar on that. We've also had information on the Christchurch Red Zone Walk Run Bike Trail, and this is a 12-kilometre Avon trail that will run from the central city to New Brighton and open in stages starting in spring this year. The trail will be fully open by early 2018. It's intended as transitional use of the land, lasting for at least 2 years until more permanent uses are found. The Avon Otakarau Network is leading the project, and it's done to coincide with the Christchurch City Council contractors upgrading the temporary river stop banks. I think this is a really exciting project, and it'll be really good to see the land being used and the fences coming down around that area, all along that area. Main Road Sumner, earthquake road repairs along Shag Rock started at the end of May, and apart from work on the road, the barrier that goes around the bend at Shag Rock with the guardrail, there'll be a guardrail and wire rope barrier installed there as well. As you well know, there's been some accidents there. Nayland Street car park, demolition to clear the site started on Wednesday 3rd of May, and this will provide 20 extra car parks for the new community facility. Should be completed by the end of June, subject to weather. Significant community issues. We have an annual expo in our area called It's Great to Live Here. It's planned to take place in July. The project aims to celebrate what is great about living, working and playing in Linwood, Woolston, Phillipstown and Bromley. And staff are working with groups and organisations to plan the expo. And planning is also underway for Winter Blast, which is an event for older adults in our board area. This will be held at the Woolston Club on the 5th of July. You're all invited, maybe except Jamie. And we've got part of Kids Fest. Staff are working with youth groups and organisations to plan an event called The Big Chill, and this will be held at Linwood Park on the 8th of July. We had the development of civil defence emergency plans, and we've got a group in Redcliffe's Residents Association they've had a couple of meetings to progress the development of their own community plan. This was facilitated by Robin Arnold. At the meeting of the 29th of May, the board talked about the proliferation of digital billboards that are appearing throughout the community board area. The board notes that the council has a policy relating to advertising on bus shelters and is asking the council to develop a policy on digital billboards and outdoor advertising. And rather than leaving it just up to the RMA to monitor this. Community Resilience Partnership Fund criteria. The board discussed this and is asking the council to engage and discuss with the community boards on the criteria for the Community Resilience Partnership Fund. Christchurch Botanic Gardens Spatial Plan. Now we note that this has been out for consultation, and we're asking that the council have a representative from our community board when they decide on the membership of the hearings panel for this plan. Community board communications strategy. The board would actually like a discussion on how the council can support us to communicate to the public better on what our community board is doing and the good things that we're doing in our area. Community board significant matters of interest. Linwood Village. The board requested a meeting with Regenerate Christchurch to specifically discuss about regeneration of Linwood Village area. We're getting a lot of negative press about this area, and we want to have a revitalisation plan that reflects the community aspirations, and we want to work with the local community organisations on how we can do this. We've actually organised a meeting with Environment Canterbury, just with our board, to discuss air quality, public transport and some other issues that in our board area. It's happening. When's that happening? Next week, yeah. The board discussed the composition of the proposed council coastal futures group, and we'd like to ensure that any process developed aligns with our communities. We'd like to have this very important conversation. I think this has moved on since this part was written, so we've actually had a meeting already on that. And park rangers. The board agrees with community feedback on the high standard of work the park rangers do and how they work with volunteers around the city, and in that way contributing to keeping down the costs of maintaining green spaces. The board is supportive of increasing the number of park rangers in the city, as noted in a staff report to the Finance and Performance Committee. And lastly, I'd just like to thank Jake McClellan, who's not here today, my Deputy Chair, who stood in for me on several occasions recently while I was away, especially for the annual plan hearings. So thank you very much, Jake, and thank you everyone for listening.
Great, thank you very much indeed, Sally. We've got time for a couple of questions. Pauline?
Thank you for a good report. Look, I'm just highlighting the 7.1, the Linwood Village, and you mentioned that you're planning on having some meetings with Regen, and you're going to work with the community. Where is that at? Has it progressed at all? Because we're getting a little bit of convolution, if you like, with the cycleway program going through there, and the Linwood Village is being kind of brought up as part of that. So the ETI committee is actually replying back to the board. I'm going to pass it to
Shapaya, but what we're talking about here is more like the problems we've got with people hanging around drinking all day, taking drugs, whatever they're doing, and we want to try and do regeneration for and revitalisation for that. I think the issue you're talking about in terms of the petition that came to the ETI committee is a different issue, but I'm going to pass it to Shapaya to see.
It is a different issue, but they're mixing them up. So what I'm trying to do is see how you're progressing with the Linwood Village revitalisation plan.
Okay. Yeah. So the Te Whare Roemata have been leading the pre-engagement on revitalisation of the Linwood Village area, and what they've done is they've spoken to the community about what issues they celebrate about the local community, what their concerns are, and one of the concerns that did come up is around the shopping centre and how there are a lot of businesses that have moved out. There's generally a sense that if nothing is done to change how things are currently in Linwood Village, that whole area will continue to be quite depressed, both people and place. The issue that's come to the ITI committee is something that was discussed even during the consultation process for the major cycle routes, and it's raised its head again as businesses realize that unless, in their opinion, that intersection remains open to traffic both ways, there isn't going to be enough business generated, because they say what cyclist would want to drive down or cycle down Worcester Street when there's actually nothing to stop there for. There isn't a beautiful coffee shop, there isn't anything that would attract people to that centre. So it is something that needs to be worked on. At the same time, the discussions with Regenerate Christchurch around I think are going to be around how does Regenerate work with the local community so that they can support a community-led process that doesn't just look at what the master plan aspirations were, what the aspirations around community development are, and what the housing aspirations are, but something that looks holistically at that whole area and tries to address the different issues. So there will be a second step where different stakeholders who may be involved in the regeneration, like Housing New Zealand, Christchurch City Council, whoever else is identified through the pre-engagement, can come together and start to have a discussion on working.
Well, that's really encouraging, because I agree we need to do something there. And so have you had the meeting with Regenerate Christchurch yet?
That's on Monday, I think.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Monday.
That's good.
Thank you. All right, do I have a mover for the report? Sarah, seconded. Pauline, Dion? Yep. Great, okay, so moved Sarah, seconded Dion. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you very much indeed for the report and the update today. Thank you.